I've run my own YouTube channel for the past 2 years while studying and now working 9 to 5. Here's how I manage both while still having a work-life balance. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is to audit your time. Working a 9 to 5 obviously means your time is limited. You have mornings, evenings, and the weekends. That's it. So let's take note at the current amount of hours that you have left in the day. I call this a time audit. So you're going to open your Apple Calendar. You don't need anything else. You can also use your Google Calendar if you don't have an Apple Calendar, or you can even draw it out in a journal if you like. And we're going to start by blocking out the hours where you have work. So it's a non-negotiable. Let's put in the hours where you have work into the calendar. So I just press Option to duplicate that for every day. And my other non-negotiable is that I have a long commute on Monday mornings and Friday afternoons because I stay at a family member's place near where I work during the week. So that's nearly an hour and 45 commute. And I have that on a Friday afternoon as well. Then on the other days, I simply just have about half an hour commute. So I'm going to put that in at the end and the start of each day. So all the time around this is what we have free during our week. I need to leave about 9 hours for sleeping every night because I'll usually take about an hour to fall asleep so I can get my 7 to 8 hours of sleep in total. So let's say I have about 2 hours before work that is free and about 4 hours after work. Then on the weekends, I have about 15 hours each day to use as well. So that is 52 hours in a week where I'm not working or commuting. Next up, we need to take into account obviously the general life stuff that I have to look after. So I'm going to block this into my calendar as well, and feel free to be following along on your calendar. I like to have everything color coded. So I have fitness, general, work, family and friends, home, like my morning and evening routine, and business. And this is me working on my business or YouTube channel. So I'm going to pop in my morning routine on each day. So this takes about an hour. It's basically getting breakfast, cleaning up, and getting ready for the day. I like to get up at 6:30. Obviously you can change this depending on when you like to get up. You might want to sleep in as close to work as you can get it to, but this is just so that I have time to do things before work that I like. As well, after I come home from work, I need to have my evening routine. So this is sort of winding down from my day, getting dinner ready. I'm also going to pop these on the weekends as well, and like a general preparing for the week and meal prep on Sunday, which I have to do to get all my stuff ready. So I like to call these my non-debatables. These are things that have to happen so I can continue on with life. There's going to be time where I have to get ready in the morning. That's a non-debatable, but your non-debatables will most likely look different to mine, especially obviously if you have kids. Now, next up, you're going to add to your calendar the things that are most important for you to get done in a week. Things that you really like to get done in a week and that might be crucial for your health, your physical health, or your mental health. So first up for me is exercise. I have a lot of problems with my physical health, unfortunately, and that means that I have to go to the gym to keep my body strong and so that I don't get injured. So we're going to put in half an hour on each of my weekdays and then a longer workout on the weekends. So I like to work out in the morning. That's just what feels best for me. So every morning I'm going to add in some sort of workout. Even if it's just going for a walk, as long as I get my body moving before work, then I always feel a lot better. Now with my exercise added in, we have about 28 hours left in the week where I'm not sleeping. Next, something that's really important to me is winding down in the evening, and I like to do this by reading, and I do it pretty much every night. So I'm gonna add that in, absolutely. So that's from about 8:45 to 9:30. So that takes off approximately another 5 hours, leaving us with 23 hours left. Please make sure to follow along and add all the things to your calendar that are really important to you. So next up, I always spend time with my parents on a Saturday morning, so from about 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then on Saturday and Sunday nights, I also have time with them. So family time has been added. So all of these things are things that are super important to me. They're not necessarily non-debatables like before, but they are like crucial to me in a week. And that leaves us with about 19 hours left. Now you might have less time than this left. If you do, it's okay. Now I'd like to note that my calendar is not strict. I move things around if I need to. Circumstances change, but I generally am the most productive if I do what's in my calendar. So now I have about 2 hours most nights after work. So during this time, I like to do some video editing. I choose to put video editing after work as I find it's one of my least brain draining tasks. So I choose to put that on weeknights when I have the least amount of energy. So I'm gonna add that in. Realistically, I'm not gonna video edit on a Friday night. I'm going to get home from my hour 45 commute and I'm going to collapse. That is very, very fine. But at least this way I get done about 6 hours of my business work during the week, even though I have a full-time job. Next up, I like to spend about 3 or so hours every Saturday filming videos for my YouTube channel. So I sort of batch create content. So I'll just put this into my calendar as general YouTube work. Then I have around 9 hours left in total. On Sunday, I'll generally try and hang out with a friend or spend extra time with family if I choose to do that. I try to make a point to just block it out, but I tend to move it around a bit on Sundays or sometimes on Saturdays. So I'll sort of replace this lunch with that. I'm just putting them in as friends. Hopefully I will see friends sometimes during the week. That is important to me. And this leaves us with about 7 hours left. So I don't add anything for the remaining 7 hours. That gives me about an hour each day, obviously if I want to move things around on my calendar, where I can just do nothing, get random chores done, go to a doctor's appointment, which I will inevitably have to go to, things like that are just inevitably going to happen in your week, and those 7 hours are definitely going to end up being filled up. Generally, I also get an extra hour of work done on Sunday mornings. I just find that Sunday mornings are a nice peaceful time to get things done, and that'll just be my general business work as well, anything extra that I need to get done in the week. So how do I stay sane with a schedule like this? Honestly, in my opinion, this schedule isn't bad because it's filled with stuff that I enjoy. Now there's work, and work is work, but it is definitely going to be there. I can't change anything about it, but the things around it are all things that I mostly enjoy. I make sure to put in things that I enjoy into my calendar, so I look forward to my evenings. I make sure that I have time to read in the evening. I make sure I have time to scroll on my phone if I want to, where these gaps are. So make sure not to overwhelm yourself by just adding work and work and work, because you're not going to follow that calendar if you just have things that you don't like. Another way that I stay sane is that weekend nights are for relaxing, no matter what. You'll see I have nothing on weekend nights other than family time and reading and whatever I want to do in between those two things. That is whatever I want to do to relax at the end of my week. So I always look forward to that time. I make sure to try and hang out with friends once a week. That's really important to me. And overall, I just try to make sure my calendar is mostly things that I enjoy, but I'm reluctant to do because I'll often take the easy option of looking at my phone. If I have all of these things here on my calendar, I'm way less likely to take the easy option, and I'll actually actively do the things that I enjoy, like reading. I really hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit more about time blocking and how to audit your time. I think that this is the way that I easily get the most stuff done in a week out of all the different methods that I've tried, from to-do lists to downloading various apps to try and help me keep my habits. I don't forget to do things if they're in my calendar. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you did enjoy it. I'm going to make more productivity videos very soon, but I'll see you next week. Good luck on your productivity journey.